Hey, Vini Avisa's here after all.
I think he's just been AFK this whole time.
Yeah, he said he was sick. Has an unpleasant condition. How's it going, Pork?
Pretty good. Can you move JDMage in here? I don't know the password.
I actually don't know either. I'll grab JDMage.
Okay, thanks.
Hey, here's JDMage. You know, maybe I should actually try... Nah, that's fine. Hey, what's up?
Not much. I shall do my intro when you're done talking.
Okay, so there's that. And is everybody ready to go?
I believe somebody wanted a moment to buy a skin.
All right.
It's a worthy endeavor.
I'll allow it. Wait, we have gets us our riot approval, I suppose.
I'm surprised you didn't make him put in a petition to do it first. You were very generous at the end of the Naira
snap. Now we moved to a flat skin pickup system.
Touche.
Well, but I like that. I do like that. Wait, no, we have to. Actually, it's they have to have a chance to petition for the skin, and then we need to give everyone else a chance to decide if they want to support or oppose.
And then if they fail, they have to give the skin to everybody else and not themselves.
Yes, there's a roll for sanctions, so it's rough. Yeah, we need to fix all that. It's gonna get fixed. Right now, it's just like let's try to survive until we hit until we hit intermission. And I'm just like, no one look too closely. We're just gonna make it work.
Don't look behind the curtain. Anyway. Hello everybody and welcome to Factions. My name is JD, currently sipping Mountain Dew Mage here. It is the December 20th, and it is the Factions matches, or featured matches for this weekend. It is the end of the Nyroth arc, and currently Bilgewater and Shadow Isles are going to be going through a bit of a battle. These three featured matches are going to decide the fate of that in terms of which side is going to be stronger than the other. I am JDMage. I am reintroducing myself because I am on break. And beside me I have CupcakeTrap, Porkchop, and I believe a dead body.
So that's three potentially edible things. Hi.
Possibly.
Alright, so is everybody... Oh, I need to roll. Yes, time to roll Night Terrors. To see if Shadow Isles gets this to work. Why are you talking about Amaterasu? Okay. Dice Room. CupcakeTrap. Actions. Okay. Do Night Terrors. So 5 or a 6, they get a ban. 1d6. Whoa, it's a 5!
And they get to choose, or is it random?
Yeah, they get to choose.
Oh, well, there goes Flash.
All right, there we go. Banning Cleanse is pretty OP, so... All right, I believe we're good to go.
Well, I believe we should give the Shadow Isle summoners a few moments just to make sure they can choose a spell to ban.
Oh, yes. I mean, how long does it take to say Flash, but...
Granted, I just said it, but you never know. They might want to be...
I mean, they could do Ignite or something, but Flash is so good because it'll allow them to...
Because everybody relies on it.
And because it is an extremely strong spell, yeah.
Eh.
Although we're about to see how strong, potentially.
I love the idea of never having to use Flash again. Granted, of course, I mean that for both teams.
Yeah. Well, it's a thing where it's used so often that...
Well, it's for the fact of if you don't... Sorry.
So I was just going to say that, how much worse are two other summoner spells? There's certainly an argument that people are just so used to doing Flash, while Riot's been steadily nerfing it that...
Have they?
It's been like for a very long time, they've been like increasing the cooldown. Isn't it like a 5-minute cooldown now or something insane? It's very high.
I can't really tell.
It's extremely high now, and they just keep... they basically said that they're okay with it always being picked, but they're just going to keep nerfing it. And so they made it shorter range, right? And then they increased the cooldown, and increased the cooldown, and increased the cooldown. All right, well, then we can begin.
It's just a very big disadvantage if you don't take Flash in just a normal match because, oh look, they're just going to flash after me and I have no way to escape. But then Flash is always seen as I'm going to flash over this wall, but then they flash after me, so really nothing happened except for where I died. The only main differences would be along the lines of a fail flash, to where that actually matters.
Right, indeed. So yes, we're into Champ Select now. I'm CupcakeTrap. This is JDMage, and Sgt Porkchop is streaming. This is the first match of a best of 3 as part of the Battle of Stormhaven. Basically, Shadow Isles has continued its plans to become the final boss of this arc, and has launched an all-out assault on the Bilgewater port of Stormhaven in the north of Nyroth. So, as per usual, we're going to have some matches which will give the victor of the best of 3 set a buff to their overall fighting strength. One exciting thing that's happened here is that Shadow Isles, they've only completed one research project this entire arc.
Surprisingly.
They finally got it together, and they got Night Terrors, which it gives them it's kind of like what Zon had in the previous arc. It gives them a d6 roll. On a 5 or a 6, they get to ban an enemy summoner spell.
Hilarious. Beavers.
Exactly. Well, it basically represents, them sending Nocturne or someone to spook some summoners and disable their abilities or whatnot.
How did they know that our Bilgewater summoners fear spiders? No.
Let's see. There's will this count for BOP? And I'll say nope.
These matches won't count for bounce.
Nope, as per usual.
Okay then. It is a little bit hilarious how Shadow Isles wanted this research project so early in the arc for the fact of banning out a summoner spell is a very powerful thing, but since they now were able to get it so neat at the end of the arc, it is very... It helped. And we see Mike picking...
What I think it comes down to is it's that larger discussion, right? So the old school, whichever faction was weak would get an extra champion to help them out, and the problem with that is that it creates a perverse incentive. And so the partial solution is you can't really reward being in a weak position. Although, by the way, if Shadow Isles is faking weakness in order to get buffs, they're sure doing a convincing job of it because they're now at like -60 with
They resemble roadkill so much.
Yeah, so I don't think they're faking it. But anyway, the policy is we don't really reward that. Except that I think it's more legitimate to do something like this, where you give the strongest dominant factions story gains. Like, for example, Bilgewater just rebuilt the Mirai civilization, right, which is going to have a major impact on the story. Whereas Shadow Isles here was given a chance to opt for a match power buff. Night Terrors doesn't do anything for them story-wise, but it gives them a bit of a stronger chance in matches. And so in this way, factions can kind of handicap themselves in a way by cashing in their victories for more story power. Or they can say, well, we need a little more help, we'll go for the match power solution. So not a perfect solution, but that's kind of the logic behind it.
Now, an interesting thing is that most of the summoners have chosen to go with Ghost. Personally, I would have chosen for everybody to go Teleport. I was once in a game between Bilgewater and Ionia where all of Ionia took Flash Teleport beside the Yi who took Teleport Heat or Teleport Smite. And the 5-man teleport was very powerful in just going across the maps to always secure Dragon Baron or going for a 5-man gank bot lane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, they can do all kinds of crazy stuff. Like, I'm seeing people taking Ghost, which is probably the most standard response to not having Flash, right? It's more mobility overall, but more spread out, less of a burst.
Now, we do see Heal Ignite on the side of Diana.
Yes, now that's interesting. She can hurt or heal. And now, Fizz doing the same. That's interesting. If you're in a solo lane, I mean, taking heal is a bit peculiar, but that could really help in a team fight if they all have their... especially because the old heal was kind of nerfed for team fights because you couldn't stack it.
It was an AoE heal, yeah.
Yeah, but the new heal is targeted.
Essentially targeted. It's always going to heal the... It's closest to the cursor, but no one ever actually matters about the cursor due to the fact it primarily heals the lowest health target.
Gotcha. Well, and is there a debuff where multiple heals on the same target do less?
Yes, it's 50%.
There used to be. Oh, but they still kept that.
They kept that.
Okay. So, they'll have to juggle it a little bit, but still, that could really make a difference. For example, with Maokai damage reduction, remember that as a general rule, anytime you have damage reduction, you amplify the power of healing, right? It makes each one of those hit points more valuable.
Essentially.
So, Maokai ult, or just tankiness in general, can be really strong. If you heal, a couple hundred HP onto a Maokai with 200 resistances, that's a lot of effective HP. So interesting. We'll see. Looks like for the most part, yeah, they've just basically gone for doubling up on the sorts of spells you take alongside Flash.
If
where
seems
is
to be
their support? Where is Nami? Sorry to interrupt. Where is Nami?
This is interesting. What wouldn't have been a bad idea would have been if most of the summoners took Smite as well, just for extra objective control. No, I'm not saying all 5 of them take it, but a second person wouldn't have been a bad call.
I agree, and I'm a little bit... Well, there's still 5 seconds. That would have been nice, I think. Oh, sorry, we should have covered up the spells, whatever. But yeah,
I mean, we have 3 minutes. We have 3 minutes, dude.
Well, the delay doesn't start until now, but yeah. Anyway,
exactly, we have 3 minutes.
Indeed.
One thing to note as well, sorry, you first.
Oh, thank you. No, nothing. I was going to point out that Katarina is not available to Bilgewater because finally someone failed their tropical drinks roll for AA. So she is like, yeah, peace out.
She's enjoying the beachside with a drink in her hand and something very innuendo-y in her other hand. I should not say it due to the fact you were here. I'm on my best behavior while the boss is in town. Yes, indeed. Quite. Cheerio.
Oh my, Katarina. But after those compromising pictures with Twisted, not Twisted Fate, with was it Misfortune, Cat, and Nautilus? I think were the 3 that were rolled. That was when the Pixies stole the camera and the result. Anyway. Long story, but anyway, yeah, I do like that idea though. And to be perfectly honest, I was actually quite happy that Katarina rolled that because for a while I had been thinking back on the first one, like it would be really fun to write a scene where Katarina just kind of kicks up her feet and is like, "No, Nami, I'm not going to go back to that, filthy island or that filthy mainland. I'm just going to hang out here on the beach because." I
mean, the final weekend isn't a bad time to do it as well. It's like, you know what, I'm almost there. I'm just gonna skip out. Like what most college students do with their skip days for their classes. Last 2 classes, screw it.
Exactly. And, hey, those knives aren't really very effective against skeletons anyway. They're kind of hard to stab.
Well, either way, I was going to comment that taking too many heals isn't a bad thing as long as you keep in mind how many ignites the enemy team has. Currently, it's just Mike with ignite on his Mordekaiser, and he can only hit 1 target versus the 4 technical targets that people can be healed by. Though 4 of the summoners do have Ignite, that is Dark, Rextref, Argus, and Nagarok, Heavy Weapons guy seems to be going Maokai support, and he is a very good Maokai. Recently I was watching him play a Maokai game in his Diamond Ranked ladder.
Yeah, I've heard about Heavy Weapons tree. It's pretty impressive.
I think it would be a heavy tree guy right now.
And, I believe Heavy Weapons guy is also as one of Bilgewater's diamonds, is also very familiar with Fizz.
Not so much. I believe he does Fizz, but if anything for mid lane, he is known for Diana.
Oh, interesting. Well, either way, it'll be useful because, knowing a champ on your team can be quite nice because you have a better instinct for what they're trying to do and how you can help them out, so...
Yes, now looking at both the teams before we get in there, shall look at the veteranicity of both the sides. Of course, we have Mike, Chima, Papaka, Ozymandias, Zond, who is a little bit of a veteran by now. He's been through half of the arc. And Noxian Diplomacy, who I believe I've seen either on my friends list for some odd reason, maybe he's a stalker, or just around the factions chat, versus Heavy Weapons guy, Dark Omega, Rextref, Nagarok, and Argus, who have all been around throughout this arc. Granted, Argus is in the same boat as Zond is. He's been around for a good portion of it. Not all of it, but a good portion. And we shall finally see who's won the skin battle. For as we all know, the skins actually dictate the strength of the battle in the actual universe, not who wins the matches.
Of course.
Would you be more fearful of a spooky gangplank or just normal gangplank? The answer is spooky gangplank. And if you answer wrong, well, then you're going to go into the brigade. The firing brigade, by the way.
Indeed. And actually, it's funny, we have Noxian Diplomacy here because we also have Ionian Diplomacy. We have someone signed up, I believe, with the summoner name Ionian Diplomacy. Why did we not have these two during Shanzan? That would have been fantastic.
Who knows? Now looking at this, we have Chimma Paprika using Battlecast Urgot. I believe he does own Butcher Urgot, though I think he does hold Battlecast as his preferable skin. We have Arcade Hecarim, very nice to see. And so far, Noxian Diplomacy is not connecting. We have Totemic Maokai, Fisherman Fizz, and Lunar Goddess Diana on the side of Bilgewater.
I'm also not getting Gangplank might be hitting the rum too hard.
No, that is
not
true.
Not connected yet.
And we all know Dark does not own a skin for Gangplank, and that is something for all those out there. If you wish to get Dark Omega a Christmas present, get him a Gangplank skin. Doesn't really matter whatever skin, because he can't really argue it's a gift.
That would be fitting. What is with this? They're missing...
This has been common throughout most of this month. Many games have gone with most people disconnecting at the very start. Just throughout all other games.
I've heard.
And there's Dark Omega.
Got nommed down some citrus. Yeah, I'm guessing that they have some ISP issues. I know people have been complaining about that quite a bit. So, well, we'll.
And we shall wait for the Callista.
Indeed. Well, I have a feeling I might start without her, but
you never know. One thing to note, I was reading in Twitch chat, people were saying that Maokai support is a generally good pick into Callista, and that might have been their thought process while coming up with the team strat. One of the main reasons, or main ways you can counter a Callista is by point-blank CC, such as Lulu, Pixie, Power, Nautilus Ultimate, or something along the third line as a Maokai snare. Mm-hmm. Since you won't be able to jump around as much, and yeah.
Uh-oh, that looks bad. Well, another way to counter a Callista is for her to not connect.
That is the best way to counter Callista. It seems the reason why Gangplank wasn't here at the beginning of it was because he purposefully did not connect in order to leave the summoning room, head over to the Shadow Isles summoning room, punch the Callista in the face, and then head back to his own.
That I should say the Noxian Diplomacy. Vaguely plausible, but yeah. Well, this might be a bit anticlimactic because it could be that Shadow Isles will just call a remake, because if there's a DC within the first 5 minutes, each team can once per match. Yeah, just call a remake.
I say that first time due to the fact that everybody waits the 5 minutes throughout the AFK or the pause timer.
Yeah. Well, that might mean we'll have a slightly slower start. Wow, and Gangplank is still loading.
You're taking a sweet time. Reveling in the punch he just threw against the Noxian Diplomacy man's cheek.
Yep. I'm thinking it's going to load without the Callista. Well, and now we're in match. Looks like we might indeed have that pause. So another thing, this is kind of a nuance, but so technically, quote unquote, these battle matches aren't actually happening on the fields of justice, right? They're representing the fight in Stormhaven. This is basically how we factor in the champions for these big battles. So I know some of you believed you were actually watching Wizards summon champions onto the fields of justice. That is normally the case, but not this time. And there's the pause.
Well, see you all in about 10 minutes. Hopefully not. Sometimes people disconnecting in the loading screen can be reconnected when the game actually starts. I know I used to have that problem about a year ago. Whenever a game would start, I wouldn't be able to connect until the game fully started, and then I would have to wait through the load screen again. So we shall see.
Oh, a question from Baxter about, we're probably going to actually use the full military system for this resolution. But, we'll see. So, lots of exciting dice.
One thing to ask, if Shadow Isles do have to remake this game, will they also have to reroll their Night Terrors roll?
No, I believe the precedent for that is that a remake does not give you or require a reroll.
Okay, then. Just making sure.
It came up once or twice before with, for example, with the random summoner spell ban, which is a different thing from the Pixies. I guess it's because, technically speaking, it's the same match, right? It's match 1 of the best of 3.
It can be technically seen as that, though. If different summoners were used instead of the ones in this one, then that could also be argued as a different one. Ladies and gentlemen, the keyboard drum set solo by Cupcake.
Oh, sorry. There were some questions there.
No problem. I just like to poke fun at drum sets.
I'm going to do the remake.
Well, they're all still in the game right now, so we shall see.
Oh, so they haven't done gone for the remake yet.
They might have just decided to wait out the first 5 minutes in general to give a full 10-minute timer. But that is a risky option.
Well, I mean, they can make their decision at the 5-minute mark. And it looks like that's what they're going to do. So, yeah. It's interesting. Obviously, Bilgewater heavily favored to win, but with their lucky roll on Night Terrors, Shadow Isles might just have a shot. Although that's going to depend in part on whether Noxian Diplomacy is one of their high tiers, and I doubt they'll be able to find another high tier, so they're going to have to play underfilling.
Yeah, I don't know. It says they're still in a game 10 minutes in, so...
so presumably the person did return.
Maybe, of course, I don't...
Or they play... I hope they aren't playing on 4v5.
I don't know.
It might be a chivalry, but I don't see who would actually want to bow out. It would be the other ADC, but that would be Nagarok, and we don't want that.
But that is
a reconnection. 1 minute and 10 seconds before the pause timer ran out.
Well, that was close. Although I hope their connection issues are fixed, because
And the game has started back up.
The oath has been taken.
And an oath has been taken.
voluntarily or not. That's what I always wonder about the Callisto one.
I do remember, I read the post you made about being a Vygar support and having a Callista.
Poor
it was very
Vygar.
hilarious.
He was not ready for that kind of commitment.
My hatred of the Callista ultimate stem. Oop! Diana Q does land on Big Mike, and Chim will be spotted out through it. My hatred of the Callista ult comes from when I was doing a Trundle top, and instead of using her passive on the Katarina support we had, she decided to do it for the Trundle. So this way, 2 of her spells were unusable during laning phase, because that is intelligent.
Yup.
Right now, I'm really appreciating the Maokai visual update ever since patch 420. The Totemic Maokai used to be a very ugly skin, but ever since the visual update, it's become very graphic and very beautiful. Actually, looks like a totem.
Soft are the targets of
Heavy using a good chunk of his mana just to use his Pikmin to ward all around. Same with the Diana trying to poke down the Mordekaiser. Neither Dark nor Chim are guarding their top lane respective buffs.
I said no escape.
And the minions have reached the lanes. Mordekaiser does fairly well against Diana, is in fact one of the well-known counters of the Diana mid lane. So, immediately right there we see Mike has a bit of an advantage. Looking up towards the top lane, Gangplank versus Urgot. Gangplank has a tiny bit of an advantage just for crit aspect, and since it's dark, that is amplified. But CupcakeTrap is a well-known Urgot main, Diamond Urgot main to be exact.
Pretty impressive. Well, actually, this is an amazing top lane because we've got this top-notch, legendary Gangplank summoner and top-notch Urgot. So.
Yep, and for those that do not know, Dark Omega recently finished up his placement matches last night and has gone placed into gold. Gold 3, to be exact.
Well done.
Up snare coming up from Maokai onto the bot lane, landing onto the Callista. Flay knocking away Nagorok, but a level 2 engaged from Bilgewater, bringing down the Shadow Isles champions to half health. An early level 2 from CupcakeTrap really hurting Dark Omega, but he's trying to trade in the middle of the minion wave. Ignite coming out from Dark, Flash from Chim, Barrier from Dark as well to absorb a basic attack. Will the poison, and the poison Ignite combo does kill off CupcakeTrap, and that is first blood for Dark Omega.
That's going to be a huge morale hit as well. You know, you've got to, I mean, people can try to stay cool, but
real quick, both summer spells are down, Hecarim's coming in from the side, Ghost being used as well. Does not get into the bush fast enough, basic attacks, uses his oranges to try to heal fast enough, but unfortunately will not survive, and Zonderan gets the kill, but bot lane, Nagorok is able to secure a kill onto the Thresh, what I can assume is a really nice snare Q combo from Maokai. I shall rewind 15 seconds.
That Hecarim kill was important, not just for the gold and so forth, but like I was saying, you know, CupcakeTrap and Dark Omega. Oh, never mind, something going on in mid. Nope, never mind, they're backing up. Both of those two were, you know, kind of the heroes of their teams in some ways. I mean, there's others as well, but seeing your awesome Urgot get taken down by their awesome Gangplank has got to demoralize you a bit. And so I think Hecarim going in and avenging him probably did help restore some of that lost morale.
Vengeance and yada yada. Just so people know, in the bot lane, Thresh was going to try to kill off a catapult minion, but they got a little bit too close and Maokai went in with the snare and Q combo. After Thresh had ran away, the last tick of Ignite does kill him off, though Nagorok did use his heal just to make sure that he can get another basic attack in, which was not needed. So those are the summoner spells down for the bot lane, are both Ignite and Heal from the Graves. No Flash or Exhaust used from the Thresh, though.
And you know, if they're really going to take advantage of this flash ban, they're going to have to gank pretty heavily. Because of course Flash is nice in all kinds of ways, but you know, I don't think it's that game-changing just as a kind of an overall abstract effect. I think its real strength is gank protection, just early on.
Gank protection and just reaching a little bit closer to get off a spell.
Well, sure. I mean,
that's Fizz coming into the mid lane. Argus being ignited, shield being procced, basic attacking Mordecai as fast as possible, and Fizz is able to get the kill. Unfortunately, the ignite is going to finish off Diana. A well done gank, and now Maokai in the bot lane snares onto Callista, uses a Q as well. A death sentence lands onto the Graves in the backline, but Exhaust put it onto the Callista. Smokescreen run right on top of her. Another Q landed from the Maokai, out of mana from both summoners. And both summoners are now out of mana and overextended, but it doesn't seem like Zon wants to try to commit to this, as E is on cooldown, uses the W and a lot of Qs. Ghost proc from Maokai to make sure he survives. Death sentence hitting right between both targets, failing that 7-10 split.
Well, that was close, and hey, that's an example where you saw, you know, this. Certainly, Flash can come in handy in any kind of clutch situation, like a lot of summoner spells. But in those sorts of situations where you're, you know, trying to hold a fight for one more spell or, you know, push a gank, I think that's where it's perhaps most remarkable.
Now, Diana caught out Zondervan in the jungle right now, trying to beat him down a little bit. She is level 6, does have her ultimate back up, and will be able to proc, and that'll be a free kill on for Diana. A really well-played catch in the jungle. Now, we are going to see the Noxian Diplomacy man. I'm just going to call him ND. ND backing out, stopped by the Pikmin, though it shouldn't kill him off. Unless he got 12 levels into it. Looking up towards the top lane, we see Dark Omega with his Avarice Blade and Flask versus Dark Omega's Flask with Longsword and a potion. A bit of a CS difference, which is to be expected from a ranged versus melee lane. Excuse me.
Well, Fizz is going through his jungle, having a good time. Maokai is going to go join in the fun.
2 Sentinels have
Nope, never mind. Thought there might be an attempted handoff.
Now bot lane, ND did not decide to back, and it was unable to, or maybe just decided, hey, I need a little bit more gold till my next item, so I shall stay and get it. And she currently does have about 1,500 gold. Fizz will take his blue buff, just hitting level 5. Hecarim took his red buff and his level 5, and did hit level 6 off of the Raptor camp. Bit of an experience
on the Shadow Isles.
Nagorok taken pretty low, death sentence missing everybody, but ND wanting to secure the kill. Heal being used by Nagorok. Oh, Ozzy flashing in to secure the kill with the W passive from the ND Kalista Sentinel.
This Kalista is living so dangerously.
But a very nice Gangplank ultimate coming in to secure the kill on Thresh. So in total, while the ADC may have... what's it, ADC? Yes, the ADC did get the kill, because one thing to note, people, the W passive, which I really can't... I'll just say Sentinel passive, for Kalista's, if the target is killed due to the passive, the kill, whatever it may be for champion or for minions, will go to Kalista. A very well played flash, though, by Ozzy to work with that mechanic.
Yep. What a scumbag ADC.
Rextref unable to finish the Raptor camp, gonna have to back. Dark, thankfully, getting that kill is able to bring him closer to his Triforce, finishing off Sheen. What's weird is that both of these summoners are not, both of them are not running Flash. Normally, Chima Popka's... No, he does run Ghost Flash, now that I think about it.
Ghost Flash is an interesting choice there.
It is his preferred, and he is an Urgot main, and that is how he does his do. Argus fighting off Mike in the mid lane. Ultimate coming out from Mordekaiser. Ultimate is being swapped. 3 ultimates in total from the Diana, able to kill off the Mordekaiser. That free kill onto Hecarim really put her ahead. So the type advantage, I should say, by referencing Pokemon, that Mordekaiser had is now gone. Maokai jumping onto the Kalista, using his ultimate as well. Noxian Diplomacy taken very low. The ult proc from Heavy Weapons Guy not able to finish up, and Nagorok using his ultimate is able to kill her from max range, and that'll be a very fancy double kill for the Bilgewater bot lane. Maokai opting to go for a very high amount of health, going for Targon's Embrace along with a Sightstone, giving him a very strong amount of health to fight off the duo. Which is weird, since the damage that they bring is pretty decently percentage, thanks to the Sentinel passive.
And I think this first match is going to largely decide things for a number of reasons. To bring up morale again, Shadow Isles loses this one, which is where they have Bilgewater's Flash banned out. I think that's just... Shadow Isles' morale is already extremely low. I think we've seen that in various contexts already.
Negative 57 points doesn't help.
Yeah, and
Hulk landing onto Maokai, no Kalista to follow it up.
Get that
a missed Q, a level 5 Thresh, unable to hold him down. Will Maokai jump on top of her? And that which will. The tower is dead. Nagorok dashing away. Exhaust being put onto Kalista. Q landing on both of the targets. Flay knocking Nagorok back just a little bit. The Pikmin hits the Kalista, but unfortunately not killing her off. Thresh is still trying to fight the duo, and that will lead to a kill for Nagorok. Kalista was using her passive to try and hop away from minions as fast as possible. Ooh, in the top lane! Gangplank ultimate securing him a kill.
Well, they did get a kill there.
Jim, not as fed as he normally tries to be at this point, only with Tear of the Goddess boots and longsword. Normally by now, he would have fancied himself the Black Cleaver, or not Black Cleaver, the Brutalizer. That's the word. Speaking of items being built, Nagorok finishing off his Essence Reaver with 2 Doran Blades. That is a very high amount of lifesteal.
And Mordekaiser putting some damage on mid-tower.
Very nice.
I believe known as a pusher. That's, trying to make the best of a rough situation. Get some objectives.
Mordekaiser going for the Raptor camp. Now, something to note as of the recent patch, if you do not have the jungle item, you receive less gold from monster camps.
They're trying to reduce poaching further.
Yes. Well, at least lane poaching. Looking at you, everybody. Looking at all of you.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's difficult because it's really another version of the support starvation issue that led to the kind of synergy mechanic, the ambient gold. Because if you have champions who scale at different rates, and you can shift gold to one, you'll do it, even if it means someone doesn't get to buy any items because they're giving up all their jungle camps or their minions. So,
no. Keepers. Anyway.
And so, yeah, I think that mechanic is there largely to make it so that the optimal strategy is not the least fun one.
Oh, Diana jumping onto Heckle. Unfortunately, the Q did not land, so her ultimate's not reproc, but a snare from Maokai will secure the kill, granted for himself. Nagarok taking the red buff, focusing down Ozymandias, though he turned his attention onto Noxian Diplomacy, though
oh, no, you don't want to be there, Thresh.
Very
you
low.
do not want to be
Dash,
there.
another basic attack, snare, jumped right through the threshold,
nice.
but the Callista ult
to
saved. That was a save Callista ult. Nagarok being chased down by the Sentinel, though he will run right into Big Mike.
Mordekaiser, you don't want to do this, buddy. You
Sapling
don't want
toss
to do
will
this.
hit him and slow him. The Pikmin will secure the kill. Noxian Diplomacy trying to hit down Rextrep, but the Fitch does dodge. Gangplank ultimate coming out as well. Callista does oh no, Urgot takes the kill.
Here comes Urgot.
Uses his ultimate trying to get away.
Here.
Jumps into the Gangplank ultimate right now in the middle of a 1v3. He will not survive as Diana is able to secure the kill. That's 5 to 15 kill difference.
Bilgewater represent. That was devastating for the Shadow Isles. I mean, if Shadow Isles manages to recover from this, it's going to be very impressive. They are.
No, it does not seem dragons. They will not be doing dragon. Dark Omega is going to go for top lane. What really hurt Shadow Isles in that fight was that Ozzy was so very low in levels just from the laning phase. He's level 6 at the time compared to the level 7 then of Maokai. And even though the ultimate was used to help escape, the Callista ult was there to escape farther, though it was very well timed because it was able to cancel out the Maokai snare, which would have killed him. But then heading back in there was not a good idea.
Well, you know, one other thing that is that ought to be noted here, you know, this is Shadow Isles' chance. If it ever has one, it's right here. I mean, they don't even need to win this set. I mean, it's not clear, but even if they just go 1-2 instead of 0-3, that might be enough for them to bloody Bilgewater's nose a bit. And there's no bans against them. The sanctions aren't in effect for this match. They've got Night Terrors. If they can just leverage that into a win, you know, it would do a lot for them.
Now, something for reference for those that do not know, the recent tournament that's... Oh, 1 second. Diana and Mordekaiser are fighting in the mid lane. Mordekaiser uses his ultimate. The shield is dropping very little bit, but it does not seem Diana will die. Urgot coming from the top lane in order to secure the tower. Unfortunately, Diana will not be able to stay. Now, it doesn't seem like Fizz will be able to stop them either, but just being close enough to get some slight experience might help them a little bit. But for those that do not know, there was a recent battle between Ionia, Freljord, and Shadow Isles, where Ionia went 3-0, and the resulting 50% battle damage modifier was the sheer reason, along with just random modifiers, that gave them the victory. Oh, snare coming out from Maokai, trying to get away, doing as much damage reduction as possible, but the Gangplank ultimate's trying to help him get away, but he realizes he won't be able to get out. Snares back onto Urgot, trying to get as much damage as possible. Diana jumping onto him after the ultimate from Urgot pop. Great
Shadow
using his
Isles
ultimate
so
to take out Mordekaiser. If Diana's able to... Nope, Diana's not able to take out Chimo Paprika, but these team split... Oh, the buckshot! A 4v5.
I'm out of here.
A 4v5 turns into a bloodbath as Graves just comes in, just shotgun blasting everybody. Note this is a third Doran blade on the side of Graves that gives him a total of 19% lifesteal from those two items. Now, Gangplank didn't notice... Oh, Chim walks right over. That is Ignite coming out from Nagark as well. Oh, but the kill does go over to Chim. That was a very powerful... And Fizz got nothing out of that. Wow.
A proud day for Crabkind.
The... I had... What is it? Zonite Explosive Cask? I forgot Urgot's spell. If I can click on the... Why does it keep changing it?
Like
Noxian Corrosive Charge, that's it.
Bolts or something? What is it?
No. Noxian Corrosive Charge is the E that was the little bit of damage over time that was able to help kill off the Graves. Very well done. The Ninja Tab is also coming quite in handy in order to get the kill before he died.
Yeah, Urgot is just the walking Zon Noxus connection right there. It's got Zon and Noxus mentioned in both abilities, or both mentioned in his various abilities.
As a quick little lore just a quick little
Creation of,
lore
are you
tip.
going to refer to, was it Stanwick Piddly or something? I can't remember his name.
I don't know who you're talking about. Callisto
No, the
Thresh and
person
Bluntly taking
who's
up the tower.
stitched together Urgot.
I do not know. A Gangplank ultimate landing onto Thresh. Nagorok being forced a little bit away, but Callisto's on the exact opposite side of where she should be, using the E to try to slow him down as well. Snare coming out from Maokai, and that'll be Maokai for the kill while Diana went for Thresh. Side thing to note, Callisto was ranking up her E first through the lane phase, and I believe I had a conversation with a few of the factions people a while ago that if you base it off the numbers and not how many basic attacks you get off, it's more beneficial to rank up the Q first as Callista because of the actual damage you get out of it.
And down goes Gangplank though up in top lane.
The Ninja Dab is coming really coming in really handy to make sure that the parlay does not do nearly as much damage as it just should. Looks like Chin will be getting back his reign, though Dragon is in the picture now. Dragon should have been killed, granted, like 10 minutes ago, but still.
There's a Hecarim ward there, getting some nice vision.
Hecarim is in base, and he will not be able to make it in time. I don't even think Mordekaiser could make it in time.
Nope. No, that Dragon is definitely going to Bilgewater, but they take a tower, you know, that's...
A Dragon for tower, while that may be okay, 4 people got credit for the Dragon Gold, along with a 6% AD AP increase, leaving Graves at 271 and 75 attack damage right now. But to what I was going to get back with the Urgot and all that stuff, a little synopsis of his lore. He was an old Noxian commander, fell in battle, brought back to life with Zonite technology, fell again in battle and brought back to life with Zonite technology.
I didn't realize it was repeated.
He did it twice, and both of the times it was Garen.
Nice.
And both of the times he got cut in half. Yeah, Urgot really ate Garen.
The
lore of
Urgot does not feel fondly towards Garen.
Urgot's lore was originally a very long one. It had two different parts of it in terms of paragraph-wise. The first one was about when he first got cut in half, and the second one was the most recent. Mordekaiser being snared under tower real quick, and that would be an insta-kill for Diana, with Gangplank ultimate coming in to secure the kill as well.
And there's that Maokai ult.
Indeed.
Soaking so much damage. They could try to collapse on them here. They are very low. It's just...
Callista does miss her ultimate, technically. That's Thresh, though. Maokai being chased down crit after crit. The smoke screen's not going to be able to do much as Chimalpapica steals the kill from Callista.
Well, he got a kill out of it. That's something.
The flash from Callista was able to help secure that just because he knew he wouldn't make it out of there, and then the E just finished it off. But a kill or 2 kills in a tower are very much worth it for Bilgewater. Well, maybe they can
hook somebody here.
Problem is right now that Maokai is their only tank. They have 4 main damage dealers. So it will be a bit of a risk if Maokai ever falls in battle again.
Callista's movement is really odd.
It is. You can't cancel the auto attack animation either, so it's a pain to last hit for me.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting design. I approve of them trying new things.
Too many new things, though, was a pain in the ass. They could have saved her ultimate for somebody else, maybe. Anyway. Urgot's lore, like most champions, have been cut down recently.
So
the beginning of his lore has been summarized into a he fell in battle versus a what actually happened to him. But at least the second part of it keeps true. Originally, it was just a matter of Garen beat the shit out of him in a battle, cut him in half, I believe sideways. And then, because he was such a great commander, Noxus wanted to bring him back to life, so he was. And then, after that, he was pretty much like a diplomat. But not a diplomat. Like a higher-up kind of war room kind of guy. Not so much on the field due to his injuries.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm like, diplomat. I don't know how...
No, I was thinking of the wrong word. But...
Well, actually, hey, Noxian diplomacy, Urgot might be exactly the kind of person you want to send in. I mean, it's clear you mean business.
Indeed. But after a scouting regiment of Noxian troops that he was supervising, captured Jarvan IV when he had his guard down.
Yes, that's where that comes in. I remember.
Yes. Urgot captured Jarvan IV and decided instead of bringing him back to the capital, he was going to execute him that night. And then during the night, Garen, leading troops of Demacian soldiers, came into the camp, beat the hell out of everybody, saved Jarvan, and killed off Urgot again. Yep. Yes. This time it was vertical.
This time
it was the vertical sniper. The second slash was the vertical slash going along where you see that major stitch up on his chest.
Well, props to Garen for changing it up a little bit, I guess. All right, well, both teams are milling around. Maybe they're looking for a fight. You know, the gold gap is not so immense that Shadow Isles couldn't win a fight, but I think they're going to... Oh, Bilgewater is splitting up now.
They're sending their tank top lane to clear out some farm, while Diana's also bot lane, so it'll be a 3v5 in the mid lane.
Pings in the mid from Shadow Isles. I think they're sensing, hey, look, maybe we can do something before Maokai gets here, because without Maokai, their team
Fizz intercepting is going into the bush, getting caught out by Urgot and Hecarim, but the damage onto Callista's, or not Callista, that was Fizz, sorry. Fizz and Graves immediately killed off in that fight, and the Rextref Ghost is going to damage the tower, though Dark Omega is still alive with the majority of health left. Minority of health left. Oh, Q crit! And a good amount of citrus to save his life. Maokai and Diana chasing down Shinmo Papaka, the ultimate coming up from Maokai in order to try to reduce as much damage as possible, though Diana's not anywhere near him. Shinmo Papaka and Diana... yeah. Maokai and Diana were split on which targets to focus. If they had focused either Chim or Mordekaiser, I believe that would have been the kill.
All in all, not a bad exchange for Shadow Isles there.
Dark Omega doing his best and actually securing a kill with the Static Shiv and Triforce proc. Very nice.
Oh, and hey, Drag's up in a minute.
With the new changes to Drag, and Baron really, those two objectives have been more of a game-winning thing versus kills. If your team is able to secure all 4 Dragons and a Baron, you have a better chance off, even if you're down 20 kills, just because of how much boost of a stat that gives.
Strong. And Dragon, I think in particular, is a lot stronger. And also, people have said, I think that towers are sort of implicitly nerfed by these buffs. That when you have Dragon and Baron buffs, you can just tear through towers. I actually don't know that for sure. I think I've played a total of 2 matches since the new changes. Well, at least recently.
Dragon has spawned. But 4 of the Shadow Isles summoners are champions all around, same as 4's others. Both ADCs are in lanes. Her ult's coming out from Urgot, but the flip from Fizz able to negate it. Mordekaiser hit by a Maokai snare and her.
This is bad for Shadow Isles. Right,
Argus falling in combat, but Mordekaiser falls as well. Fizz running away from combat, heavy in the middle of it all, locking down Hecarim. Thresh taken out by the flip. Callista finishing off Fizz. Exhaust coming out as well. Crit after crit. Able to secure her kill and snare onto Hecarim before he can finish off Graves. Chima Papaka trying to kite Dark and Heavy for as long as possible, though the rallying cry, helping to catch Chim down. Knockup coming out as well, securing the kill, while only 2 have died.
That was a pretty bold move on Hecarim's part. Yeah, no, I think the problem there is, like, when and again, not to backseat drive, I would have done the same thing, right? But I think what Bilgewater did well there is when you've got a champion like Maokai, there's definitely an optimization case that's extraordinarily powerful. And in the particular kind, which like Amumu's is a thing that happens a lot in kind of disorganized matches. Basically, everyone bunches up and you have a giant AoE that affects everyone who's bunched up. And so if you let the team fight happen, or if you're able to make the team fight happen inside the Maokai ult, it's like a giant train coming by. A train that reduces damage and then applies it when it comes back around the tracks to the enemy team. So Bilgewater just made that I mean, there's no way Bilgewater could have lost that.
What was also something that helped out Bilgewater was a very poor call for Urgot to ult the Fizz, due to the fact Fizz, using his Trickster, would be able to just disengage from the teamfight entirely. And that amount of lockdown repositioning is lost.
You hate Fizz so much that it's very hard not... It's like when I play Veigar, it's very hard for me not to want to try to blow up Fizz, even though that's a good way to get your ult cancelled. Because he's just a little bastard. I hate Fizz. It's funny, I've noticed some factions people just really hate Riven, for example. That always struck me as a little out of nowhere. I'm like, Riven.
She's like, powerful as all hell. That's why we hate her.
I'm like, Riven. But Fizz I can understand. I can understand people hating Fizz. I hate Fizz. I'm not sure if I can be trusted to write a lore update with Fizz in it, because I just hate Fizz so much. That little bastard.
People know me for the fact I hate Lulu very much.
I love Lulu.
I hate Lulu. Shut up, Porkchop.
I think Porkchop has
You don't get to
something
talk in this manner.
Lulu's awesome. Porkchop, did I tell you that I have I've named the neighbor's cats Veigar and Lulu?
Oh, how cute.
Aww.
It's very cute. Yeah. Aww. I always think about that. It's because, yes, there's a black cat, who we nicknamed Vagar, and then we noticed there's a white cat.
Oh, fight coming out. Gangplank and Maokai synergizing their ultimates together. Fizz getting a fish onto Thresh, and he actually flashes onto the Mordekaiser. Callisto saving him. Hecarim getting into the backline, unfortunately dying right in the middle. Thresh landing a hook on Diana, but actually a lot of focus was put onto her from the two ADCs, technically. Maokai diving hard under the tower, but is not able to secure any more kills. A very big misplay from the Maokai going right back in, staring Shima Papaka, but dying for it. Ultimate coming out as well, but he will die to Dark, and along with Callista, I believe that was the same static shock chain that killed them both. Very good fight coming out from there. A thing to note was that Thresh flashed away into the Mordekaiser while he still had the Fizz ult on him, knocking both of them up. No, sorry to interrupt you, Jim, or Cupcake. Just wanted to get a kiss out.
That was worthy of. That was a good reason to interrupt. Yeah, ouch. That. Well, Hecarim pulled off a great flanking maneuver there. It's just that there was nothing to follow up. I mean, it would have been in a more even fight. That would have been like an optimal pace for Hecarim. But,
I believe if he had done it when Thresh originally was caught, that might have been better in order to break up the focus that was going on to him at the time, but then onto Mordekaiser when he was knocked off. Him as Mordekaiser. Anyway. So the black one's Vygar, and I assume the Lulu one is the one exhibiting drug problems.
Indeed.
She was exhibiting drug problems. Perfect. That is Lulu.
Lulu's got an interesting view on things. Lulu is always high.
Yeah, she's just very happy. She's high on life.
I like Lulu, though, for that reason, that I think she's a pretty good shot at not just like a goofy character, but like a character who's just completely disconnected from reality.
I just hate Lulu's kit. It is too strong.
I have a friend who likes to take Lulu top lane and do kind of the same thing that Nunu top does. Lulu, Nunu. I didn't realize that before. But yeah, just trolling them. Well, both of them. They can both troll top.
Rest in peace.
Another. Oh, they got him this time! Take that, you little bastard.
Ooh, damn. Not going to be too useful.
There's that
Graves falling immediately. Diana
Maokai is
falling to Callista. Wow.
We are really seeing how valuable Maokai is, I think, here.
Or any tank line. Though Nagrok being ghosted right now, he's going to be a very... Actually, was going to say a very big help, but he's taking down a half health right now. Gangplank ultimate as well will help kill off the Nagrok clone. Unfortunately, won't do too much else. Maokai decided to split push bot lane.
Died. And as he lived.
He died as he died. Dead. That's a good one.
Indeed. Well, and that's another thing that Shadow Isles does have going for it, like Noxus, like a Zon too, to some extent, although Zon rarely had to use this. It does have a nice comeback mechanism, which is that it's got some hard lockdown and burst, and so even if it's down a lot, if it can catch somebody out, it can turn into a 4v5. Which is nice, because it gives you at least a ghost of a chance, so to speak, even when the match as a whole is tilted terribly against you. So, well done there.
Indeed. But as I was saying, tanks are generally needed in many games. I've been climbing back up the ranked ladder, and I've really come to appreciate a duo tank meta. With only one tank, that tank... You first.
I feel that... Sorry, go ahead.
The way I've seen it is you only have one tank, then you have 4 squishy people that will be immediately killed because one cannot peel for 4. But if you have 2 can peel for 3, as well as holding back the other 3.
Well, that's an interesting theoretical explanation for it. I feel this is in some ways lost wisdom from back in the quote-unquote old days, which is, like 2 years ago, but still. It used to be that the rule of thumb that I learned was you always want at least 2 tanky characters, one of which should be a true tank. And people have really gotten away from that. But it's very powerful. Often you'll see teams with no tank now. And that used to be like a major gripe. There's even that parody band called No Tank, parodies No Doubt songs for LOL.
Nice. Bilgewater trying to do Dragon right now. The ward is alive still. Dark using his ultimate to hold back the Shadow Isles team. Hecarim's ult missing a very good amount of them. Q coming up from Maokai, locking down a lot of the champions.
There's that horrible Maokai in the middle of wrecking their
Maokai
faces.
does eventually fall, but Graves and Dark are able to secure the kills onto two of the squishies. Zahn does take out Diana, but he does fall in the end. Thresh left with no health. A
Nice.
3 for 3 with
Well,
a secondary dragon secure for the for Bilgewater. Fizz standing on a ward, Ghost coming out from Urgot, flipped over top from Ignite, used as well. Unfortunately, it's hit by the E and a lot of basic attacks, though that top lane is pushing very deep right now with a super minion mid lane.
Well, that was a good adaptation from Shadow Isles, I think. I kind of want to go back and watch that slow-mo, but
Now, something I can say, at least even though Fizz did kind of suicide at that point trying to fight Urgot, stalling Urgot for as long as he did stop him from stopping the Graves, who was top lane, along with the did and the stop,
Yeah,
and I'm going to
that's
repeat
true.
those words.
Champs
So top lane
respond, towers don't. That's true.
Indeed.
But, you know, I'm still sensing some fight in Shadow Isles. I think they have some potential for comeback here. And like I said, the thing about a faction like Noxus or Shadow Isles is they can
Graves finding
always turn
Nox. Graves finding Callista in the top lane, though, deciding not to fight it.
Oh, hey.
Maokai
These were wards.
Kind of being caught out right now. Oh, ult from Jimbo Popka, though the ult from Gangplank and Maokai trying to beat down the backline as much as possible. He does have the... Oh, that will just be dead.
You get a ghost tree. Hey,
Ghost
look,
tree.
Maokai is a Shadow Isles champ after all.
Everybody gets their wish. Yay! Now the middle inhibitor has respawned. Ward at the small bushes.
Okay, what are they going to do with this, though? Oh, why aren't they doing Baron?
They should be trying Baron at this point with a tree to
Why
stop
are they
them.
doing Baron?
Oh, not fucking... What is it? Graves was also taken out during that fight. Graves being 1v1 in the Noxian Diplomacy.
Oh no, Spooks, what are you doing, guys?
That will be the second, or that will be the interior inhib tower falling for Bilgewater.
Oh, that's what they're doing.
Inhibitor go with.
They're taking an inhib. Alright, you know what? I take it all back. That makes perfect sense. I didn't always want to take Baron. It's a bit of a fault.
Well, they
and
do
now they're
secure an
rotating
inhibitor.
top.
Ooh, more towers. Though all 5 of the Shadow Bilgewater members are alive right now, and not all of the Shadow Isles champions are at 100%. Righteous Glory and Ghost being used by Heavy Weapons guy trying to get down into the back of the team, but unfortunately he's not able to get past the Callista.
Uh-oh, Spooky Ghosts on Shadow Isles. The irony, the slows.
Snaring the Hecarim using his ultimate right in the middle of all of them. He is taken pretty low, but the heal is able to keep him up. Zonder and hit by the Fizz ultimate. Diana in the back immediately blown up along with the Maokai. Fizz left at no health. Nagrok and Gangplank not able to do much. Fizz taken out of the fight. Q from Nagrok able to secure the kill onto Mordekaiser. Basic attacks able to finish off Ballista. Dark is able to kill off Thresh, but it doesn't look like he'll be able to fight Chim.
That Thresh. Ace.
There is
the last crab scuttering.
There is a super minion pushing down mid lane right now that would give the advantage towards Shadow Isles.
Will tank for himself. Urgot accustomed to pain. Sorry.
Now, still a super minion pushing. Let us see what happens. The solo super minion with a cannon minion. Up, minions have spawned. Might stall them. Nope, Diana's alive fast enough. We'll be able to stop the minions from taking the tower. Very, very close.
Well, the gold gap is almost closed now. That was and you know what's? Speaking of tanks, I should probably refrain from making too many theoretical observations because I really don't know how to play this game. But I'm trying to pass on what I've understood from others. Part of the theory of tanks that it was taught to me when I first started LoL was that every tank needs a tank threat. As in, if a pure tank that's just hard to kill is worthless because they ignore you. Whereas every tank needs a threat. For some of them, that's that they can do gradual damage. So like if you don't kill me, I'll kill your team in 30 seconds. Or it might be lockdown. If you don't kill me, I'll throw you into my team. In Maokai's case, obviously his ult provides that tank threat, and you really saw that there. Like normally, shooting Maokai is not a great idea. But his threat is, you know, he's in the middle of your team. He's like, as long as I'm alive, this is going to be massively unfair unless you can reposition drastically.
The problem was in that fight, Maokai wasn't in the middle of the enemy team and his team. He was just in the middle of the enemy team. So the damage reduction was just going to be a giant AoE damage shred that, since he has very little AP actually built, it didn't matter. Though, it does seem like Bilgewater setting for Baron. The Scuttle Crab was killed for Shadow Isles, though. Up, Chimapapaka, knowing he's under siege right now. Unfortunately, the Bilgewater Summoners decide to go through the Tri-Bush. Righteous Glory being popped by Maokai, goes as well from Urgot. Will the snare reach? And no, but the Gangplank ultimate being used just a little too... Oh, great! Soloing Callista! How did that happen so abruptly and immediately? Oh, snare coming down onto Chimapapaka, ult coming out as well, landing onto the Fizz in the backline. Fizz's ult landing onto Chimapapaka. Heavy weapons guy taken very low, finished off by the Mordekaiser, and actually... Oh, wow, that fight turned really sour.
Angel. I was imagining an angelic Urgot drifting down from the heavens.
That is hilarious. A very poor fight for Bilgewater.
Like, I'll just take your base.
All your bases belong to us. No, all your bases all belong to us.
Deal with Graves.
Nagarok taking out the tower pretty quickly, even without minions there. Unfortunately, that will be Baron for Shadow Isles.
And once again, Baron asking, who are you people? I don't even know you. Why are you doing this? And a base tower.
Oh, a Nexus tower fallen. This is turning into Shadow Isles' game right now ever since that little bit of a throw from the Maokai split.
Light is just
They should be able to go there.
Alright, they got him. And now Urgot is going straight for drag.
This would be Bilgewater's 4th dragon, which give them a 15% minion and monster damage buff.
Shadow Isles does not want that dragon going to them. I would argue that it's an especially valuable dragon for Shadow Isles for that reason, because taking it denies it to Bilgewater.
6% damage bonus.
Blue team has slain the dragon.
Well, you know, I spoke about Shadow Isles having its spirit broken, but I think it's starting to come back together. If they can win even this first match, that could really turn things around, not just for the set, but for the arc. It could really, I think, inspire them a little bit, get them back in the game.
Unfortunately, Callista killing off Gangplank while Maokai killed off her might be a bit of a problem. While it is not impossible for a team to come back after losing a Nexus Tower, it is kind of difficult, though 2 open inhibitors versus 1 is the challenge right now.
Yeah, well, you know, Shadow Isles is really going to have to play this perfectly. If they're going to... They've got the buffs, they've got their moment, but if they don't exploit it, if they don't have the cohesion to exploit those momentary advantages from Baron and Dragon...
Something to note, Nagarok not building as a Hurricane, as he's commonly known to build with his Graves.
How utterly conventional. Or anti-conventional in his case, I suppose.
Baron buff is being wasted right now as they're just trying to push the lane into the base, getting as much money as possible. Though no other objectives have been taken. While Baron was on their side, I should say. If I was Bilgewater right now, I'd be trying to focus down the Mordekaiser because he does not have a Zanya's Hourglass. So if you can consistently CC lock him down, he will not be able to survive.
They're trying to be sneaky, but those spooky ghosts
will throw out the vision. Now there's a big Shadow Isles minion wave pushing down bot, which Diana will be taking care of. Up, Fizz being spotted up by a ward.
We hate him. I hate him so much.
Ooh, Dark taking a very big hunk of damage. Jim using his ultimate on Nagarok, but the Mercurial Scimitar canceling out the Urgot ultimate. Very well done. Dark Omega putting down his ultimate as well for a little bit of disengage. Though there are Baron minions pushing into the base. A very good use of Mercurial Scimitar by Nagarok. Now we do see the 5 champions of both teams going towards the bot lane. Though Shadow Isles does not want to try to initiate a fight underneath tower.
It's so rough though because Shadow Isles got to be so nervous, but if they just, you know, wimp out in their moment, that could really cost them too.
Consistent cues from the Urgot poking down the Bilgewater front/mid line.
There's a defiant laugh.
In the bush that nobody heard. Because she was in the bush.
No one's
That's
listening.
his ult, though.
Yeah.
Yep, deciding to just give up the tower, not wanting to try to defend it outside the base.
That fizzled.
Callista doing a lot of damage to the tower. Shadow is pushing down into the middle inhibitor. Bilgewater backing away, not wanting to try to fight this without the tower assistance. Maokai using his ultimate Righteous Glory as well, coming into the Thresh. Zon using his ultimate into the backline. Rextra being focused down immediately by Chimal Papka. Argus and Dark Omega forced into a play from the Thresh. Dark Omega falling to Callista. When Mordekaiser does fall, Nagar might be able to survive Zondervan by using the tower jukes, but unfortunately will not be able to run to... Oh, no, Stra. Hackerman is unable to get the kill, however. Hackerman and Urgot taken to very low health. And it looks like they might be able to try to end the game soon.
Oh, that would be risky.
By handy dandy Chico Vision.
Could do it. So
Yeah,
they've
handy.
got, Maokai and Graves.
I know how this game ends.
They're going
It's
for
obvious.
Yep.
Having Flash banned out wasn't the... Ooh.
Victory for the Shadow Isles. Extremely hard fought both sides, and props to Shadow Isles. Obviously, this is like the most favorable possible set of circumstances with that flash ban and with the relatively even tiers. But gotta hand it to them. They hung in there.
It does give Shadow Isles. Shadow Isles now has a 1-0 score as of right now, and as the reward state, if they go 2-1, then that's a 25% strength bonus. 3-0 will give them a 50% strength bonus.
But either way, that's that I think already means that Shadow Isles has a chance of winning the big battle.
Maybe.
Obviously, there's randomness involved there. But I think that they're got a chance. They've got a chance.
The battle for Stormhaven shall not be a full blowout.
Indeed.
Well, before we wrap it up, Cupcake, who is your MVP for both teams of this game?
Well, I think Maokai was very strong for Bilgewater. Meanwhile, it's hard not to say Urgot,
Yeah, it kind of is hard.
Callista did a lot of work as well. Both their 80 carries did.
Yep. He could just go split. I will be giving my MVP award to Maokai as well, being the sole tank of Bilgewater, but unfortunately being the sole tank, the other four just kind of fell around him. And then for Shadow Isles, I will split it between Urgot and Callista, both of them pulling a very high amount of damage onto the back line, so that Mordecai was able to either get a Maokai tank clone or a Graves ADC clone. Well, everybody, that is the first game of the 20th of December's featured matches. We will come back in a couple of minutes for the second game.
See you soon.
See you then.